My name is Robert Koplar. I'm the Vice President of Business and Legal Affairs for World Events Productions. We are the rights holders for Voltron. We're also the producers of a new animated series called Voltron Force, which airs on Nicktoons. It's a 26-episode series. It's an awesome-looking show. It's a combination. Well, thank you. Yeah. It's sort of a combination 2D and CGI show. We've got the CGI for the robots, which has this amazing fluid-like, cat-like action, and we combine that with the best of both worlds with 2D. So we have traditional 2D characters that look warm and human-looking rather than the stiff robotic CGI humans. So we've had struck a nice balance between those two. From a creative standpoint, we've brought in 3 new cadets to the Voltron Force team, Daniel, Vince, and Larmina. And the show is basically us introducing Voltron to a new generation of fans, because guys like us who grew up with the show and have fond memories of it, a lot of us have kids now, and not me personally, but a lot of folks our age have kids, and they can sort of introduce the show Voltron to their kids, and we've sort of kind of had that in mind when we wrote the show, and so we built in 3 young kids who are sort of introduced to Voltron through the eyes of our classic heroes of Lance, Allura, Keith, Hunk, and Pidge. So the classic Voltron Force, where they were almost like teenagers in the original. They were like kids. We've aged them up a bit, and it's been a nice device to introduce these 3 kids, Daniel, Vince, and Larmina, to the Voltron Force, because as the classic Force sort of explains the universe of Voltron to these kids, it's us explaining it to the audience. And it allowed us to sort of reboot the franchise without doing another origin story. We didn't want to reinvent everything. We wanted to stay true to the mythology and the heritage of the brand. So it was a way for us to introduce Voltron to kids without totally redoing it. So we kept with our heritage, and we're building upon it. So yeah, but the show's doing great on Nicktoons, and they're taking a break on new episodes until November, and then I think November 2nd we have episode 14 airs, so we're going to start having some new episodes pretty soon. Yeah, a lot of the networks are leaning toward comedy right now, and so we've infused a good dose of comedy in our show, and it's genuinely funny. You can watch it and laugh, so we try not to take ourselves too seriously, but still have that action bent to it, still have that classic Voltron, like formation scene, still slice robies in half with the blazing swords. Oh, a host of challenges, Like I said, the first one was from a creative standpoint. We didn't know what to do, because we were talking about rebooting it, and it went through several incarnations in development. We were talking about doing something called Voltron Pantera Force for a while. That got out there a little bit, which we were going to have like some alien creatures on the Force, and it was just going to be a crazy hodgepodge of characters. And in the end, we decided let's stick with the characters that got us here. We've got some brand equity in those guys, with like Keith and Lance and Pidge and Honks and Allura, and so we brought them all back. But the other challenge was format. Do we want to go with a CGI show? Do we want to go with a blend of the two, which is what we ended up doing? And how do you improve upon a classic? Because there's a lot of fans that are really diehard, really critical, and especially we took kind of an unusual step of moving away from anime. So we kind of went away from the roots of Voltron, and we said, okay, let's reinvent it. It's a little bit more Western looking, obviously. That was sort of a risky move on our part, but we just kind of wanted to get a different look out of it, and then who knows, maybe down the line do another anime reincarnation of it. So we decided to take some risks, and I think most of them are paying off for the most part. But it's been great.